I thank you for that ovation. Now, what can I do for you? Is this on? I can't hear myself again. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
All right. I do want to thank the man who gave me the standing ovation. Oh, excuse me, that's George Brett. Poor George. Friday night crowd.
Yeah.
You can always tell not often you see a guy drinking Inglenook wine out of an inflatable rubber woman. Now, that's really smart.
Oh, thank you.
You got the two-tone. That's nice.
Thank
Or
you.
are those two different suits you got mixed up? What is it? Tommy, I love Tommy Newsom. Great musician. He's not... You know, you always think of musicians as what? Being really hip?
Yeah.
Well, Tommy is not what? Typically hip. For example, he won't do drugs, he told the guys in the band, until they make the lewds in the shape of Fred Flintstone. Did you hear that George Brett had a nightmare last night? He dreamed that he hit a grand slam homer, won the World Series, and the whole team patted him on the backside. I hate to make jokes at George's expense because that is, well, it's not only embarrassing, and it's not funny if you've ever had that problem, right? There's one ray of light, though. With the World Series on NBC, we don't have to listen to Howard Cosell, otherwise we'd have two pains in the same area. I have a late report from the newsroom.
Just now?
Just came in. Vice presidential, independent. Vice presidential candidate Patrick Lucy just announced if he's not elected, he will take a job selling Spiro Agnew watches. Did you see television last night? Where Reagan and the president appeared together for the very first time since his campaign has started? And it really wasn't supposed to be a political thing. I think the Al Smith dinner that they hold in New York is supposed to be a nonpartisan type of thing. But they both show up in New York City at the Waldorf Astoria, and they both gave talks, and they were dressed in white tie and tails. Looked like a eulogy for the country. Well, they both sat on the same dais, separated only by their food tasters. John Anderson, unfortunately, did not appear. It was a $200 a plate dinner. That's right. John held his own fundraiser, $1 a bucket, at Colonel Sanders in Brooklyn, but it's going. Poor John Anderson. I kind of like him.
Yeah.
His campaign, you know, is run by his brother, Hans Christian. Reagan got some more support today. Two prominent blacks came out supporting Ronald Reagan for president. The way he got the support, because Ronnie promised to bus black women astronauts to the moon. And his speech in Connecticut, Carter said that he will protect both the sick and the aged. Now that takes care of him and Reagan. What about us? On the news last night and in the paper, I'm sure you saw this, according to a survey by the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health. Did you see what they said about teenagers in our country? How many of you saw that? Sex among teenagers has risen dramatically. According to the survey, 50% of young ladies between 15 and 19 have already had a sexual experience. Oh, come on. Now, when I went to school, that was not true, right?
No.
Where were those girls then?
Yes. And we looked everywhere.
Yes. My only companion in high school was a Betty Grable hand puppet. Didn't quite do the job. I should tell you what's on some of the other channels tonight. Merv Griffin is having another one of his fabulous theme shows that only Merv does with such style and panache. Tonight, Merv is having Zbigniew Brzezinski Henry Kissinger, Richard Nixon, and George Burns. And they're all going to discuss playing God.
So, thank you for coming. We'll be right.
Covering his tracks pretty good, right?
Sure is.
Now, I asked you before about being in Colorado during the break, and you said, of course, like
Well, I
you
mean,
had
why
been.
wouldn't I go to
Had you
Colorado?
been in every 50 states in the United States?
Yes, I have.
Now, be honest.
No, I have. No, I really have.
You've been in North Dakota?
Yes.
Now, what were you doing in North Dakota?
I was traveling with my father. My father was a fundraiser, and before I'd been 4 years old, we'd been in 40 states.
How about Wyoming?
One in Wyoming, yes. How'd you like Rome?
I've never been to Rome.
Oh, I've been in Rome. Did you enjoy
You're
standing...
going to be there next week.
Did you enjoy... I love standing in the Parthenon on the Acropolis at moonlight. I mean, the shadows come in. How did you enjoy
I
Athens?
have never been to Athens. No. You've been to Athens?
Yes. Did you like swimming? I was scuba diving in the Blue Grotto off the coast of Capri. How did you like Capri?
I haven't been to Capri.
Oh. Did you meet a lot of people you knew going down the walking
Shut up.
street? In Copenhagen?
Now, shut up.
That's it.
You've been in Bakersfield?
Yes?
Spring in Bakersfield. I had a funny letter today came across my desk from Dana and Gloria Fraley, F-R-A-L-E-Y, from Burbank.
We've been there.
Yeah, we are here now. You know, I did a bicentennial spot for the city, which I know you have done.
Yes.
And Doc has done one, I think, because we have our 200th anniversary of
Los Angeles.
And mine was about Burbank. What did you talk on?
I had to talk about the names of this town before it was called Los Angeles. And if they aren't something, they're all Indian names. They're
Yeah,
all
Spanish, probably.
Spanish and Indian. And it was
Yeah.
a very...
What was the original name?
I can't even... I had so much trouble with that.
La Ciudad de
It
Los
wasn't Los
Angeles.
Angeles, no.
La Ciudad de Los Angeles. Right?
Very good.
City of the Angels.
City of the Angels, yes.
Now, most people think that Burbank was named after Luther Burbank,
I
the
always thought
famous
that.
botanist and horticulturist. It was not. It was named after a dentist who came out from the East by the name of David Burbank.
What did he do?
Well, he came out here. He was a dentist. I just said what he did.
What do you mean? What did he do to have a city? You don't have a town named after you just because you're a dentist.
All right, he came out here. He must have been a lousy dentist because he took up sheep ranching. That's right. Took up sheep ranching, and eventually he sold off the acreage to this city, and they named it after David Burbank. You realize if it had been named after the botanist, this could have been called Kumquat, California? Anyway, that's this letter from... Says, my wife, Gloria, and I were watching her October 1st, 1969 anniversary show, at which time she was overdue to deliver our first child. Now, that was the year, I guess, of the Ed Ames famous hatchet throwing?
Yes.
When Ed Ames made his infamous axe throw, my wife laughed so hard that her water broke and labor began. Later that night, our first son, Sean, was born as a result. Now, here's the kicker. By the way, we finished watching your show before going to the hospital. Now, there's a real cool...
As a devoted fan.
There's a real cool husband. So it's nice to know that our show serves a purpose.
Some purpose.
All right.